Hey Matt, can I get a buzz cut after a hair transplant? If the hair transplant doesn't work, I will just buzz it off, right? If your hair transplant looks like this, or this, the answer to both questions is no. Hey, welcome back to Let's Get Hair. My name is Matt. I am a professional hair clinic matchmaker. I had my first hair transplant in 2017, experienced some failures and bumps along the road, but I am back stronger and fortunate to have helped more than 2,000 men in person find their best hair transplant clinic match. And before we start with this video, quick shout out to GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. The path to David Beckham-like buzz cut or Kevin Hart-like buzz cut for my afro-haired audience is not gonna be easy because you have to successfully complete the buzz cut quest. The difficult part about the buzz cut quest is to be able to successfully avoid the 5 following pitfalls anybody can fall into that can compromise your buzz cut result and make it look like this. But after watching this video, you will have all of the equipment necessary to be able to avoid all of these. So let's get started. See this huge dam on the image? Well, it interrupts the river flow the same way a lack of blending of your transplanted hair with the existing hair does to your whole hair flow on your scalp. You can see it on many examples like this one, where there is a clear gap between the transplanted zone and the existing hair zone behind it. And this is very bad for having a natural, smooth-looking buzz cut, because there is gonna be a gap. And this is not always the fault of the clinic, because oftentimes, if your hair loss is active, you will just keep losing more hair after your surgery, and even as early as 12 months post-operation, you can have already bigger sized gap in this existing hair zone. Look into finasteride, give it a try, see if you can tolerate it, because that thing will help you have a smooth looking buzz cut for a long time after your hair transplant. But also study the before and after results of different clinics that you are considering and look at their clients. If they are ending up with these types of patterns where they're not consistently blending it with the existing hair, that's not a good sign. What you want to be looking at is results like these. This is one of my clients. This is just month number 6, and this was his existing hair zone, and this is his transplanted zone. And right now we can see how this buzz cut just seamlessly blends with that existing hair zone behind it, and it is just 6 months, so this will get better and thicker over the next 6 months. Look at this image. What do you see? I see a pattern. I see rows, almost like 3 rows, where the clinic preferred doing it fast rather than slower and controlled and precise and calculated. And it doesn't feel like a random field of flowers that is very chaotic and very natural, and you cannot spot any patterns in it. But in this case, it looks more like a chessboard. So what you want is to look for a more homogeneous spread of the implanted grafts. And you can already spot it right after the surgery. If you look at all those post-op images from day 1, day 5, day 10, you will see how those scabs are starting to form, and you see if they are forming any sorts of pattern or if it's like a scattered, natural type of art. That's what hair transplant is. It's an art, rather than fast and mass-produced results that might look okay when the hair is longer, but they are not that versatile. So when you cut it and buzz it, it's gonna uncover the imperfection. Let's come to the pitfall number 3, everybody. Have you seen those antique type of roads? You can normally see them in Europe, in the old towns, like if you go to Prague, Vienna, Berlin, and those types of cities. When you look at that road from the top, it appears to be a smooth road. But have you ever tried to drive a car on these roads? The only thing you hear is like... and you are praying when we will switch to the smooth road finally. It feels super bumpy because these are cobblestones. And that's where the word cobblestoning is coming from. It's a legit term in hair transplant terminology where the skin after the hair transplant can actually form bumpy looking scars. And they come as a result of 2 things. Either the clinic is creating incisions that are not deep enough. And in this case, the skin will heal up improperly in a bumpy shape because the incision hasn't been done deep enough. So the skin around it tends to elevate. The second way how cobblestones can appear is when the clinic is taking too much skin tissue when extracting the graft, and there's a lot of surrounding tissue. And once they place it, they don't trim them enough. They are too big for the recipient sites that were made for those channels. Then again, the excess skin around that follicle can cause that cobblestoning appearance because there is just too much skin tissue, and this additional skin tissue will form that bumpy scar around it. Now, the problem with cobblestones is that you can never get rid of them. You can only mask their appearance by placing more hairs in between, but this is better if you plan on keeping the hair longer. If you keep the hair longer, you should be fine in most cases and you hide the cobblestoning appearance. You can also get scalp micropigmentation to soften their appearance visually, but they will still be there, so you can kind of never get rid of them. What you want to do, you want to choose the right clinic, like my client Pat. Look at his buzz cut after 4 months. This is before result. He got his whole frontal third transplanted, and after 4 months the hair started to grow. You see his shorter cut here, where you can see how natural, how seamless, how smooth his skin is. This is his 4.5 month mark, where he decided to completely buzz his head with 1mm guard, and you can see this looks just fabulous. And yes, there is a little bit flaking because he was also using a lot of minoxidil actually, and the product that he used was not really sitting well with his skin, so it gave him some flakiness, but we were able to resolve it. We will go right now to our fourth pitfall, which is one of the most common ones. Imagine a beautiful field of grass. There is nothing inside. It's just wind blowing and the grass is dancing with the wind. And now once you look closer, there is a small little area with trampled grass in it. Maybe there was somebody lying in there, maybe there were some animals doing God knows what. But there's one thing for sure, the harmony has been disrupted in this field. This is exactly the same as when some hair transplants get that high angle look and wrong directionality in their transplanted follicle. So especially in the hairline, you don't want to be having high angles that are like 30 degrees or more. You want to be below 30 degrees, between 20 and 30, and then on the temples it should be even more acute, like 10-ish degrees. High angles and wrong directionality can uncover more baldness, even if the transplanted density has been sufficient. We were just talking about the top so much, we're forgetting about the back. So what you can see here is that somebody got a hair transplant and he wanted to buzz it off and he used the 1mm guard. If you look at it, it doesn't look smooth. It looks rough. It doesn't look aesthetic. It looks like he got burnt or something. We want to avoid that. In order to do so, it's important to choose clinics where they're able to homogenize the extraction properly. You want to be able to enjoy a great buzz cut, but also you want to have a clean looking donor, like my other client, Kai. This is looking amazing. If you were unable to discover my channel sooner and maybe you have already fell into some of these pitfalls, there is still one strategy that could help your buzz cut that is maybe not looking the best, maybe you have over-harvested donor. Imagine there is one thing how to fix it almost instantly. And it's called scalp micropigmentation. But how do you use it right? How many sessions will you need? How can you even look with that depending on your hair type and severity of you being affected by one of these pitfalls before? All of that in this video, so make sure you watch it next, and let's make sure that your hair transplant buzz cut will look fuller and better. Check it out and see you there.